Everyone, today, I want to talk to you about something we all wrestle with, something that silently chips away at our potential: distraction. We live in a world where information is constant, notifications are never-ending, and focus feels like a luxury. But here's the truth. Focus is not a gift, it's a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained. Yes, you can train your brain to stay focused, even in the noisiest, most distracted world we've ever known. In a world filled with constant distractions, strengthening focus has become more critical than ever. One of the most effective ways to train your brain and improve concentration is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present in the moment, consciously aware of your thoughts, emotions, and surroundings without judgment. While it may seem simple, this practice has profound effects on the brain and significantly enhances one's ability to concentrate. When we are mindful, we become more aware of when our attention drifts. Most of the time, we are not even conscious that our minds have wandered. We're reading an email, and suddenly we're thinking about dinner plans or a conversation from yesterday. This automatic drift is natural, but mindfulness helps us recognize it more quickly. By noticing when we lose focus and gently bringing our attention back to the present task, we are training our brain to develop better attentional control. This process strengthens the neural pathways responsible for focus and reduces the brain's tendency to get pulled away by every passing thought or external stimulus. Practicing mindfulness doesn't require hours of meditation. Even a few minutes a day can make a difference. A common approach is to focus on the breath. You sit quietly, close your eyes, and pay attention to the sensation of breathing in and out. When your mind inevitably starts to wander, you simply notice that it has and bring your attention back to the breath. This simple exercise, repeated regularly, helps build the muscle of focus. Just as lifting weights gradually increases physical strength, mindfulness gradually increases mental clarity and concentration. Scientific studies have shown that regular mindfulness practice can lead to changes in brain structure. The prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain involved in decision-making and focus, actually becomes more active and developed with consistent mindfulness. At the same time, the amygdala, which governs our stress response, becomes less reactive. This means that mindfulness not only helps us focus, but also reduces stress, which is another major source of distraction. Mindfulness also trains us to be less reactive to our thoughts and emotions. Often, we lose focus not because of external distractions, but because of internal ones: worries, fears, plans, and regrets that hijack our attention. Mindfulness helps create a mental buffer between stimulus and response, allowing us to acknowledge these thoughts without becoming consumed by them. As a result, we are better able to stay anchored in the task at hand rather than being pulled into a mental storm. Mindfulness fosters a calm, focused state of mind that becomes a default, not just something we access during meditation. We begin to carry that presence into our daily lives, into our conversations, our work, our relationships. By training the mind to stay present, we become more productive, more grounded, and more capable of navigating a world designed to distract us. In essence, mindfulness doesn't just help us focus, it transforms how we live and interact with everything around us. In our hyper-connected world, distractions are everywhere. From buzzing phones to overflowing inboxes, from background noise to internal mental clutter, staying focused has become increasingly difficult. To train your brain to stay focused, it is essential to eliminate distractions with intentional boundaries. This means taking deliberate steps to control your environment and your habits, creating clear lines between focus time and everything else that demands your attention. One of the first and most effective strategies for reducing distractions is managing your digital environment. Smartphones and computers are powerful tools, but they are also the biggest sources of interruption. Every ping, alert, and notification pulls your attention away from what matters. The solution is to be proactive. Turn off non-essential notifications, especially from social media, messaging apps, and promotional emails. Use Do Not Disturb modes during work periods or set your devices to silent. If certain apps or websites are especially distracting, use website blockers or focus apps that limit access during designated periods. This may seem small, but the cumulative effect of fewer interruptions leads to deeper concentration and improved mental clarity. Creating physical boundaries is equally important. Your workspace should signal to your brain that it's time to focus. This doesn't mean you need a perfect office. Even a small, tidy desk or corner can make a big difference. Clear the area of clutter, keep only what you need in sight, and try to limit visual distractions like open tabs or nearby televisions. If you work in a noisy environment, consider using noise, canceling headphones, or playing low-volume instrumental music to create a bubble of concentration. The goal is to design your space in a way that supports your focus rather than works against it. Time boundaries are another essential part of this process. Schedule specific blocks of time for focused work and protect those blocks with intention. Treat them like appointments that cannot be interrupted. During these periods, let others know you're not available unless it's urgent. This helps train both your mind and your environment to respect your focus. Similarly, set boundaries around breaks and leisure time. Giving yourself permission to rest fully and guilt-free prevents burnout and makes it easier to concentrate when you return to your tasks. Mental boundaries are often overlooked, but are just as vital. Train your brain to recognize when it's wandering and gently guide it back without frustration. Keep a notebook nearby to jot down unrelated thoughts or to-do items that pop into your head while working. This way, you acknowledge them without letting them derail your focus. Over time, this practice strengthens your mental discipline and reduces the tendency to multitask or get sidetracked. Eliminating distractions is not about removing every possible interruption. It's about creating intentional boundaries that support your goals. It requires discipline, yes, but more importantly, it requires clarity about what matters most. By making conscious choices about your digital, physical, and mental environment, you send a powerful message to your brain: this moment matters, and when your brain knows that, it becomes much easier to stay focused, present, and in control. In a world full of endless distractions and constant multitasking, maintaining focus can feel like a losing battle. However, one of the most effective ways to reclaim and train your attention is by using structured focus techniques. These are proven methods designed to help your brain stay engaged with a single task, reduce mental fatigue, and improve productivity over time. Rather than expecting yourself to stay focused for hours at a time, structured techniques break work into manageable segments, allowing your brain to perform at its best without becoming overwhelmed. One of the most well-known structured focus techniques is the Pomodoro technique. This method involves working in short, concentrated bursts, typically 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break. After 4 of these cycles, you take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. The brilliance of this approach lies in its simplicity. By setting a timer, you give your brain a clear expectation: I only need to focus for the next 25 minutes. This makes starting less daunting and reduces procrastination. The short breaks prevent mental fatigue, while the structure reinforces consistent focus. Another effective technique is time blocking, where you schedule specific periods of the day for specific tasks. Unlike a general to-do list, time blocking assigns actual clock time to activities. For example, from 9:00 to 10:00 a.m., you might focus solely on writing, while 10:00 to 10:30 is reserved for emails. By pre-committing to a task during a specific window, you're less likely to drift between unrelated activities or get caught up in unplanned interruptions. This not only improves focus, but also enhances your ability to estimate how long tasks truly take. Task batching is another structured method that enhances focus. This technique involves grouping similar tasks together and completing them in a dedicated time block. For instance, instead of checking emails sporadically throughout the day, you designate a specific time to handle all email correspondence. This reduces context switching, which is mentally draining and one of the biggest enemies of focus. Batching helps the brain stay in a single mode of thinking, making it easier to maintain concentration and efficiency. It's also important to recognize the role of regular breaks in structured focus. Short, intentional pauses refresh your mind and prevent burnout. During these breaks, stepping away from screens and moving your body, even briefly, can re-energize your thinking. This cycle of focused work, followed by meaningful rest, is crucial for long-term productivity and mental clarity. Tracking your focus and reflecting on your work patterns can reinforce these techniques. Journaling what worked, what didn't, and how focused you felt during different time blocks helps you fine-tune your schedule and identify peak productivity periods. This awareness builds a personalized system that aligns with your natural rhythm. Structured focus techniques are not about rigid discipline, they're about smart strategy. They give your brain a reliable framework to operate within, making it easier to resist distractions, get into flow, and accomplish more with less stress. With consistent use, these methods transform focus from a struggle into a skill you can trust and build upon every day. In a world that constantly pulls our attention in different directions, having purpose-driven goals is one of the most powerful ways to anchor focus. When you know why you're doing something, it's easier to stay committed, ignore distractions, and push through challenges. Purpose provides clarity. It gives your mind something specific to aim for, a reason to stay engaged, and a filter to decide what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Many people struggle with focus not because they lack discipline, but because they lack direction. They start tasks without a clear understanding of their significance. As a result, motivation fades, and it becomes easier to succumb to distractions. But when your actions are tied to meaningful goals that reflect your values, dreams, or long-term vision, your focus becomes more natural and sustainable. You begin to see each task, no matter how small, as a step towards something greater. This sense of purpose turns even routine work into purposeful effort. Purpose-driven goals act as a compass. They guide your decisions, shape your priorities, and help you say no to things that don't align. When you're clear about your destination, you're less likely to waste energy on things that don't get you closer to it. This clarity reduces overwhelm and enhances concentration because you're not constantly second-guessing what you should be doing. You simply follow the path that your goals have outlined. To anchor your focus with purpose, you first need to define what truly matters to you. This could be career growth, personal development, creativity, health, or making a difference in the lives of others. Once you understand your deeper motivations, you can set specific, actionable goals that align with them. For example, if your purpose is to help others live healthier lives, a goal might be to complete a certification in nutrition. That goal then becomes the anchor for your daily focus, whether you're studying, reading, or practicing your communication skills. Breaking down big goals into smaller, measurable steps also supports sustained focus. Large goals can feel overwhelming, which leads to procrastination and distraction. But when you divide them into clear, manageable tasks with deadlines, your brain knows exactly what to do next. Each completed step builds momentum and reinforces the connection between your efforts and your purpose. It's also helpful to regularly remind yourself of your why. Write your goals down, put them where you can see them. Start your day by reviewing what you're working toward and why it matters. This mental rehearsal strengthens your resolve and keeps you connected to your vision, even when motivation dips. In moments of distraction or fatigue, reconnecting with your purpose can reignite your focus. You're no longer just working, you're building something meaningful. That shift in mindset transforms your attitude and helps you stay centered, even in a chaotic world. Purpose isn't just fuel for ambition. It's a powerful force that gives your focus direction, stability, and endurance. With clear purpose-driven goals, your mind knows where to go, and your focus has a reason to stay.